There is a frequency your body has been broadcasting for longer than you can remember. And until very recently, it has been running into a wall. Not a wall anyone built for you. Not a wall made of circumstance or bad luck or some cosmic punishment. A wall made of interference. A wall made of signals you absorbed before you had the language to question them. Signals that told you what you were allowed to have, how much was safe to receive, what kind of life someone like you could expect. Those signals became part of your operating frequency. They wove themselves into the way you breathe, the way you hold your shoulders, the way your stomach tightens when something good starts to arrive. And for years, maybe decades, your natural abundance frequency has been colliding with that interference pattern, canceling itself out before it could ever fully express. But something has shifted. You can feel it. That is why you are here. Not because an algorithm suggested this video, because the interference pattern is finally breaking apart, and the signal underneath it, the one that has been yours since before you took your first breath, is starting to come through clean. Let me explain what I mean by that. Because this is not metaphor dressed up as science. This is something that has a precise mechanism, and understanding that mechanism is the difference between hoping abundance arrives and recognizing that it has been trying to reach you the entire time. In 1967, a German physicist named Winfried Otto Schumann had already changed the way we understood the relationship between the Earth and the space around it. He had mathematically predicted that the cavity between the surface of the Earth and the ionosphere would act as a waveguide, a resonant chamber, and that electromagnetic waves would circulate inside it at specific frequencies. The fundamental frequency he predicted, and that was later confirmed through direct measurement, sits at approximately 7.83 Hertz. This is the Schumann resonance. It is real, it is measurable, and it is constantly pulsing through and around every living thing on this planet. What makes this relevant to you right now is not the number itself. It is what happens inside the human brain at that same frequency range. 7 to 8 Hertz falls at the boundary between theta and alpha brainwave states. Theta is the frequency of deep meditation, the edge of sleep, the space where the subconscious mind becomes accessible. Alpha is the frequency of calm, relaxed awareness, the state where creativity flows without effort and the inner critic goes quiet. The boundary between them, right where the Schumann resonance lives, is the precise neurological state in which the brain becomes most receptive to new patterns, while simultaneously releasing old ones. This is not a coincidence, and it is not a poetic interpretation. The human nervous system evolved inside this electromagnetic cavity. Your brain literally developed its architecture within a field pulsing at 7.83 Hertz. You are tuned to this planet the way a string is tuned to a guitar body, and when your internal frequency matches that resonance, something specific happens. Resistance drops, not emotional resistance, not psychological resistance, though those drop too. Electrical resistance. The coherence of your neural oscillations increases, which means your brain stops fighting itself. The signals between your prefrontal cortex and your limbic system synchronize. The part of you that plans and the part of you that feels start operating as one system instead of two systems in conflict. Now here is where abundance enters the picture. And I need you to stay with me because this is where most people lose the thread. Abundance is not a thing. It is not money. It is not possessions. It is not even opportunity. Abundance is a frequency of reception. It is the state in which your system is open, coherent, and capable of recognizing and integrating what is already available. Scarcity is not the absence of resources. Scarcity is a frequency of contraction, a state in which your system closes, becomes incoherent, and actively filters out what is available because it does not match the pattern your nervous system expects. Think about that for a moment. Your nervous system has expectations, not hopes, not wishes, expectations. And those expectations function as a filter on your perception, determining what you notice, what you allow in, and what you unconsciously deflect. This is not mysticism. This is the reticular activating system, a bundle of neurons at the base of your brainstem whose entire job is to filter the roughly 11 million bits of sensory information hitting your nervous system every second, down to the roughly 50 bits your conscious mind can process. The reticular activating system does not filter randomly. It filters according to what you have told it matters. And you tell it what matters not through affirmations, not through vision boards, not through conscious intention alone, but through the frequency your body is actually broadcasting, through the emotional tone that has become your baseline, through the pattern your nervous system has settled into as normal. If this is already starting to shift something in you, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe so this work continues to find the people who are ready for it. This is the wall I mentioned at the beginning, the interference pattern. It is not blocking abundance from existing in your life. Abundance is everywhere. Resources, connections, ideas, timing, support, all of it is constantly circulating through the field you live in. The interference pattern is blocking you from perceiving it. It is tuning your reticular activating system to scarcity, which means your brain is literally filtering out evidence of abundance in real time, right now, every second, and replacing it with evidence that confirms what your nervous system already believes. And what does your nervous system already believe? That is the question that matters more than any manifestation technique you have ever tried. Because your nervous system does not believe what you tell it in the morning during your affirmation practice. It believes what it learned during the first 7 years of your life, when your brainwave state was predominantly theta, when you were essentially in a hypnotic trance every waking moment, downloading the beliefs, behaviors, and emotional frequencies of the people around you without any critical filter whatsoever. Between birth and roughly age 7, the human brain operates primarily in theta and delta frequencies. These are the frequencies of deep programmability. A child in theta is not analyzing what it sees. It is absorbing it directly into the subconscious architecture. If the child's environment broadcasts scarcity, the child's nervous system encodes scarcity as normal. If the environment broadcasts anxiety around money, the child's body learns that money and anxiety are the same signal. If the environment broadcasts the message that abundance is for other people, that wanting more is dangerous, that security comes from contraction and vigilance, those patterns do not become beliefs in the way adults think of beliefs. They become the baseline frequency of the nervous system itself. This is what has been interfering with your abundance signal. Not your conscious thoughts, not your lack of effort, not the universe withholding something from you. Your own subconscious programming, installed before you could speak in full sentences, has been generating an electromagnetic pattern that cancels out the very frequency you are trying to broadcast. You have been trying to transmit abundance from a system that was calibrated to scarcity before you were old enough to tie your shoes. And here is what changed. Here is why the wall is breaking. Your awareness of this pattern is itself the disruption. Not your intellectual awareness, not the fact that you can describe the problem in words, but your felt awareness. The moment when you stopped just knowing about the pattern and started feeling it operating in your body in real time. That shift from conceptual understanding to embodied recognition is the single most powerful frequency change a human being can undergo, because the subconscious mind, the part running the old program, does not respond to language. It does not respond to logic. It does not respond to affirmations. It responds to frequency, to felt experience, to the actual electromagnetic signature your heart and brain are generating together in this moment. I want to hear from you on this. When did you first feel the old pattern operating in your body, not as a thought, but as a physical sensation? Drop that moment in the comments, because articulating it anchors the awareness even deeper. The HeartMath Institute has spent over 25 years measuring this. Their research has documented something remarkable. The human heart generates an electromagnetic field roughly 60 times greater in amplitude than the brain, and approximately 5,000 times greater in strength. This field extends several feet beyond the body in all directions and changes its pattern based on the emotional state of the person generating it. When a person is in a state of frustration, anxiety, or fear, the heart rhythm pattern becomes erratic and incoherent. The signal it broadcasts into the surrounding field is chaotic. When a person shifts into a state of genuine appreciation, care, or what the researchers call heart coherence, the heart rhythm pattern becomes smooth, ordered, and sine wave-like. The signal becomes coherent. If you have been doing everything right, and reality still has not shifted, this is the one thing nobody has told you. There is something underneath all of it, quietly running the show. I am hosting a free live transmission where I walk you through exactly what that is and how to finally shift it at the root. The link to register is in the description below. Save your seat. The moment you see this, you will understand why you could not see it before. And here is the part that matters most. When the heart signal becomes coherent, it entrains the brain. The brain synchronizes to the heart, not the other way around. The entire nervous system reorganizes around the heart's coherent signal, and the reticular activating system begins filtering differently. Not because you told it to, because the electromagnetic environment it operates within has fundamentally changed. This is the mechanism underneath what you are feeling right now. The breaking through that brought you to this video is not a mystical event. It is a phase transition. It is the moment when your system has accumulated enough coherent signal to begin overriding the old interference pattern. Like a radio that has been stuck between stations for years, picking up nothing but static and fragments. And finally, the dial has moved just enough that the signal is starting to come through. Not perfectly yet, not completely, but enough that you can hear it. Enough that you know it is real. Enough that your body is responding to it, even before your mind has fully caught up. Let me take you somewhere specific so you can feel what I am describing, instead of just understanding it conceptually. Think about the last time something good happened to you unexpectedly. Not something you planned or worked for, something that arrived. A conversation that opened a door you did not know existed. A piece of information that reached you at exactly the moment you needed it. A connection that formed without effort. An amount of money that appeared from a direction you were not watching. Now notice what happened in your body in the seconds after that good thing arrived. Not the minutes after, when your mind started making sense of it. The seconds after, before thought intervened. There was a moment probably very brief, where your system opened, your chest expanded, your breathing changed, something in your gut softened. For just an instant, the interference pattern went quiet, and your natural frequency came through unobstructed. And in that instant, you were not trying to be abundant. You were not practicing abundance. You were not affirming abundance. You were simply in the frequency of reception, and the abundance that was already there became visible to you. That moment is what your system is trying to return to. Not as a peak experience, not as a rare exception, as a baseline. That is what the breaking through means. Your nervous system is attempting to recalibrate its default setting from contraction to coherence, from scarcity filtering to abundance filtering, from the old interference pattern to the clean signal that has been underneath it all along. But there is a part of this process that almost no one talks about, and it is the part that determines whether the breakthrough holds or collapses back into the old pattern within days. The part no one talks about is the body's resistance to its own expansion. You would think that shifting from scarcity to abundance would feel good, and eventually it does. But in the transition itself, in the actual moments when the old pattern is breaking apart and the new frequency is establishing itself, what most people feel is not joy. It is fear. It is a nameless, sourceless anxiety that seems to have no object. It is a sudden urge to sabotage the very thing that is working. It is an inexplicable desire to return to the familiar discomfort of the old pattern, because at least the old pattern is known, and the nervous system values the known above almost everything else. This is not a character flaw. This is neuroscience. The nervous system's primary function is not happiness. It is not success. It is not abundance. Its primary function is survival, and survival depends on predictability. Your nervous system would rather be predictably miserable than unpredictably prosperous, because unpredictability to the ancient parts of your brain signals danger. The amygdala does not distinguish between the unpredictability of a predator appearing from behind a rock and the unpredictability of your income doubling. Both register as departures from the known pattern. Both trigger the same cascade of cortisol and adrenaline. Both activate the same contraction response. This is why so many people who come into sudden abundance, whether through lottery winnings, inheritance, or rapid business success, return to their previous financial baseline within a remarkably short time. The research on this is striking. A study published in the Review of Economics and Statistics found that lottery winners of amounts up to approximately $100,000 showed almost no measurable change in net worth within 3 to 5 years. The money came in, and the nervous system, still calibrated to its original frequency, systematically pushed it back out. Not through stupidity, not through irresponsibility, through the precise and relentless operation of a subconscious program that defines what is normal and enforces that definition with the full power of the autonomic nervous system. Your body has a financial thermostat. That is not a metaphor. It is a functional description of how your nervous system shirukslatis your relationship with resources. Just as a thermostat in a room will trigger heating when the temperature drops below the set point and trigger cooling when it rises above, your nervous system triggers contraction behaviors when abundance exceeds your set point and triggers grasping behaviors when it falls below. Overspending, giving away, creating crises that require financial outlay, making poor decisions that erode gains, These are not failures of willpower. They are thermostat corrections. They are your nervous system pulling you back to the frequency it was programmed to maintain. So the real question is not how to attract abundance. Abundance is not attracted. It is allowed. The real question is how to change the set point, how to recalibrate the thermostat, how to convince the deepest, oldest, most protective parts of your nervous system that a new baseline is safe. And this is where we arrive at something that most abundance teachings get precisely backward. They tell you to feel abundant before you are abundant, to act as if, to vibrate at the frequency of wealth before wealth has arrived. And there is a kernel of truth in this, but the way it is usually taught creates a kind of emotional performance that the subconscious mind sees through instantly. You cannot trick your nervous system. It has been reading your internal state with perfect accuracy since before you were born. It knows the difference between genuine felt coherence and a performance of positivity layered on top of unresolved fear. And when it detects the performance, it doubles down on the old program, because now it registers not only the original scarcity pattern, but also the additional threat of self-deception. What actually works is something far less dramatic and far more powerful. It is not about feeling abundant. It is about feeling safe. Specifically, it is about teaching your nervous system that expansion is not dangerous, that receiving is not a threat, that having more than you had yesterday does not mean something terrible is about to happen. This is somatic work, not cognitive work. It happens in the body, not in the mind. And it happens not through grand gestures of transformation, but through the smallest, most precise interventions at the level of the nervous system itself. Here is one. And I want you to do this with me right now, not later, not when you have time right now, because the moment of breakthrough is not a concept to be scheduled. It is a frequency to be entered. Bring your attention to the center of your chest, not your thoughts about your chest, your actual felt sensation there. Whatever is present, tightness, warmth, numbness, movement, just notice it without trying to change it. Stay with it for a few breaths. Now ask yourself this question, not with your mind, but with your attention still anchored in your chest. What would it feel like in my body if it were completely safe to receive right now? Do not answer the question. Let the question sit in your chest and notice what shifts. You might feel a softening. You might feel a deepening of your breath. You might feel a subtle expansion, as if the space inside your rib cage just grew slightly larger. You might feel nothing at all, and that is fine too. Because even the act of asking the question at the somatic level begins to create new neural pathways around the concept of receiving. What you just did, if you actually did it, is more powerful than 1,000 affirmations, because you spoke to your nervous system in its own language, not words, not concepts, felt sensation and spatial awareness. You introduced the possibility of safe reception directly into the body, bypassing the cognitive defenses that have been guarding the old scarcity program. Tell me in the comments, what did you feel in your chest when you asked that question? Not what you thought about it, what you physically felt. A softening, a resistance, a warmth. Nothing at all? Your answer matters more than you realize. This is the kind of practice that changes the thermostat, not in one session, but in the accumulation of moments where the body is given direct evidence that expansion does not equal danger. Each time you return to this, each time you ask that question with your attention in your chest rather than in your head, You are laying down a new neural pathway. You are creating what neuroscience calls experience-dependent neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to physically restructure itself based on repeated experience. The key word is experience, not thought, not intention, experience. The body has to feel it for the brain to encode it. And this brings us to something I want you to understand about the nature of frequency itself, because the word gets used so loosely in these conversations that it has almost lost its meaning. Frequency is not a metaphor. It is a measurable physical phenomenon. Every atom in your body is vibrating. Every cell membrane is oscillating. Every neural circuit is firing in rhythmic patterns that can be measured in hertz. You are not like a frequency. You are a frequency. You are a complex, multi-layered, constantly shifting pattern of oscillation, and that pattern interacts with every other pattern in your environment through the basic physics of resonance and entrainment. Entrainment is the phenomenon by which two oscillating systems, when brought into proximity, will gradually synchronize their rhythms. Christian Huygens discovered this in 1665, when he noticed that two pendulum clocks mounted on the same wall would always synchronize their swings within about 30 minutes, regardless of how they were started. The mechanism is simple. The vibrations of each pendulum travel through the shared wall, creating a subtle but persistent influence on the other. Over time, the stronger or more coherent oscillation dominates, and the weaker one falls into sync. Your nervous system is doing this constantly. It is entraining to the dominant frequencies in your environment. This is why you feel different in different rooms, different cities, different relationships. It is why the company you keep literally changes your physiology. It is why spending time in nature, where the dominant frequencies are coherent and rhythmic, produces measurable changes in heart rate variability, cortisol levels, and brainwave patterns within minutes. You are not separate from your environment. You are in constant electromagnetic conversation with it. And here is the part that changes everything about how you understand abundance. You are not only receiving frequencies from your environment, you are broadcasting them. Your heart's electromagnetic field, that field 60 times stronger than your brain's, is transmitting your internal state into the space around you at the speed of light. And through the physics of resonance, that transmission is influencing what synchronizes with you. What matches your signal is drawn into coherence with you. What does not match your signal is repelled or remains invisible to you, filtered out by the same reticular activating system we discussed earlier. This is not the law of attraction as it is popularly taught. This is not about positive thinking, magically summoning parking spaces. This is about the measurable physical reality that your internal state determines your perceptual filter. Your perceptual filter determines what you notice and respond to, and what you notice and respond to determines the trajectory of your life. The mechanism is not magical. It is electromagnetic, neurological, and behavioral, operating in a continuous feedback loop between your internal frequency and your external experience. So when I say your abundance frequency cannot be blocked anymore, I am pointing to something specific. The interference pattern, the one installed in your nervous system before you could evaluate it, has been weakened, not by something outside you, by the accumulation of your own awareness. Every moment of genuine self-observation you have had, every time you caught yourself in a scarcity reaction and recognized it as a problem rather than a truth, every time you felt the contraction in your body and stayed with it instead of running from it, every time you chose to remain present with discomfort instead of numbing it, you were eroding the interference pattern. You were introducing coherence into a system that had been running on incoherence. And coherence, once it reaches a certain threshold, becomes self-reinforcing. This is what physics calls a phase transition. Water does not gradually become ice. It remains liquid, remains liquid, remains liquid, and then at a precise threshold, the entire system reorganizes simultaneously into a new structure. The individual molecules did not change. Their relationship to each other changed. The pattern changed, and once the new pattern establishes itself, it maintains itself with far less energy than the old pattern required. You are at that threshold. The fact that you can feel something different, the fact that something about this moment feels like arrival rather than searching, is evidence that the phase transition has begun. The old interference pattern is not gone. You will still feel its echoes. You will still have moments where the scarcity frequency surges and your body contracts and your mind starts rehearsing worst-case scenarios with the fluency of long practice. But the pattern no longer has the structural integrity it once had. It is breaking apart because you have introduced enough coherent signal to destabilize it. And once a phase transition begins, it does not reverse. It completes. There is a phenomenon in quantum mechanics called quantum tunneling that illuminates what is happening in your life right now in a way that I find remarkably precise. In classical physics, if a particle does not have enough energy to overcome a barrier, it cannot pass through. The barrier is absolute. The particle bounces back every time. But in quantum mechanics, this is not what happens. The particle, described by its wave function, does not stop at the barrier. Its wave function extends through the barrier and out the other side, diminished in amplitude but still present. And there is a non-zero probability that the particle will appear on the other side of the barrier without ever having had the energy to climb over it. This is not theoretical. Quantum tunneling is one of the most well-confirmed phenomena in physics. It is the mechanism that allows the sun to shine. The nuclear fusion reactions that power our star require protons to overcome their mutual electromagnetic repulsion and fuse together, and they do not have enough kinetic energy to do this classically. They tunnel through the barrier. Without quantum tunneling, the sun would be dark and cold, and you would not exist. Now hold that image. A barrier that is absolute in the classical model, but permeable in the quantum model. A particle that does not have the energy to go over, but goes through anyway. A process that does not require overcoming the obstacle, but rather passing through it at a level of reality where the obstacle is not solid. This is what has happened with your abundance frequency. You did not overcome the interference pattern. You did not fight through it with willpower or positive thinking or sheer determination. You tunneled through it. Your wave function, the full probability field of who you are and what you can experience, extended through the barrier of your old programming and emerged on the other side. Not because you had enough energy to break the wall, because at the quantum level, at the level of consciousness itself, the wall was never solid. It only appeared solid from the classical perspective, from the perspective of the mind that thinks in terms of obstacles and effort and linear cause and effect. From the perspective of consciousness, which is the deeper reality, the barrier was always permeable. It was always a probability pattern, not a wall. And your sustained awareness, your willingness to keep looking at the pattern instead of looking away, gradually shifted the probability distribution until emergence on the other side became not just possible, but inevitable. This is why it feels like something has broken through rather than something you achieved. because you did not achieve it in the way the mind understands achievement. You allowed it in the way consciousness allows everything, by becoming coherent enough to stop generating the interference that was preventing it. If you are feeling the depth of what we have been moving through, there is something I want to share with you. Have you spent years chasing manifestation, visualizing, affirming, raising your vibration, only to watch the same patterns repeat? Every traditional method assumes the same thing, that you are separate from what you want. That separation was never real. You were chasing a signal you were already broadcasting. Beyond the frequencies, a quantum guide to consciousness mastery walks through all 9 frequencies, from the dense transmissions trapping you through the ascending currents to the master frequencies where consciousness becomes the field. Every method you tried sent a signal outward. This one tunes the signal you already are. Every day you delay, your nervous system broadcasts the same old signal, and breaking free gets harder. So move on it tonight. The link is in the pinned comment below. Now let us return to the current that has been building here. Now I want to address something that might be arising in you as you listen to this, because if your system is genuinely in the process of recalibrating, there is a very specific kind of doubt that tends to surface at this stage. It sounds like this. What if I am just telling myself a story? What if this is just another form of wishful thinking? What if I feel different right now, but nothing actually changes in my material life? That doubt is not a problem. That doubt is actually the old interference pattern making its last coherent argument. And it is worth examining, not to dismiss it, but to understand its structure. Because understanding its structure is what takes away its power. The doubt assumes a separation between inner experience and outer reality. It assumes that feeling different and being different are 2 separate things, and that the feeling might be real while the being remains unchanged. But this assumption is precisely the one that quantum mechanics dissolved 100 years ago, and that most people, including most people who talk about quantum mechanics in spiritual contexts, have not fully absorbed. The measurement problem in quantum mechanics is not a minor technical puzzle. It is the deepest unsolved question in all of physics, and it strikes directly at the assumption that inner experience and outer reality are separate domains. Here is the problem in its simplest form. Before measurement, a quantum system exists in a superposition of all possible states simultaneously. It is not in one state or another. It is in all states at once, described by a wave function that assigns a probability to each possibility. When a measurement is made, the superposition collapses and one definite state appears. The system goes from all possibilities to one actuality. The question that has haunted physics for a century is this: what constitutes a measurement? What is it about the act of observation that causes the wave function to collapse? And despite enormous effort, no one has been able to locate the collapse mechanism in any physical process. It is not the measuring device. Measuring devices are themselves quantum systems. It is not the interaction between systems, because quantum systems interact all the time without collapsing. The only consistent factor across every instance of wave function collapse is the presence of a conscious observer. This does not mean, as some careless interpretations suggest, that you can collapse reality into whatever you want by thinking about it hard enough. What it means is far more profound and far more relevant to what you are experiencing right now. It means that the boundary between the observer and the observed, between your inner experience and outer reality, is not a hard boundary. It is a participatory relationship. Your consciousness is not watching reality from outside. It is participating in the selection of which possibilities become actual. Not through effort, not through intention in the way the mind understands intention. Through coherence, through the frequency at which you are observing. When you observe from scarcity, from the incoherent frequency of fear and contraction, you are participating in the collapse of a reality that is consistent with that frequency. When you observe from coherence, from the state of genuine openness and safe reception that you touched a few minutes ago when you brought your attention to your chest, you are participating in the collapse of a different reality entirely. Not because you are creating something from nothing, because you are selecting from the infinite field of possibility, and the selection mechanism is your frequency. This is why the doubt, the voice that says, "What if nothing changes?" is actually the old frequency trying to maintain its influence over the collapse process. It wants you to observe from scarcity one more time. It wants you to turn to the familiar frequency so that the familiar reality continues to materialize. And every time you recognize that voice as a frequency rather than a truth, every time you feel it arise and choose to remain in the new coherence instead of following it back into the old pattern, you are strengthening the new signal and weakening the old one. Let me give you something concrete to work with here, because understanding this intellectually is only half the equation. The other half is somatic. It lives in your body. There is a pattern I want you to start noticing in the coming days. It is subtle, and if you are not looking for it, you will miss it entirely. The pattern is this: every time abundance begins to move toward you, every time an opportunity opens or a resource appears or a possibility presents itself, there will be a moment, usually lasting less than 2 seconds, where your body makes a decision before your mind does. In that moment, your system will either open or contract. It will either soften into reception or tighten into defense. And that somatic decision, that 2-second window, will determine whether the abundance completes its approach or deflects away. Start watching for that window. You do not need to change anything yet. Just watch. Notice the moment when your chest tightens slightly at good news. Notice the moment when your breath catches when someone offers you something. Notice the subtle pulling away that happens in your gut when you are about to say yes to something that exceeds your old set point. Just notice, because noticing is not a passive act. Noticing at the level of the nervous system is the introduction of consciousness into an automatic process. And the moment consciousness enters an automatic process, the process begins to change. Not because you forced it, because observation itself is an intervention. The observer effect is not limited to quantum particles. It operates at every scale of reality, including the scale of your own nervous system. This is the practice, not visualization, not affirmation, not effortful manifestation. Precise, compassionate, sustained observation of the moment when your body decides whether to receive or deflect. Over time, as you bring awareness to that 2-second window again and again, the window will begin to widen. What was 2 seconds will become 5. What was 5 will become 10. And in that widened space, you will have something you have never had before in relation to abundance. Choice. Real choice. Not the cognitive choice between yes and no, which the conscious mind has always had. The somatic choice between opening and contracting, which until now has been entirely automatic, entirely governed by programming you did not install and could not access. That is what it means for your abundance frequency to be unblocked. It does not mean that money will fall from the sky. It does not mean that effort becomes unnecessary. It does not mean that the material world rearranges itself to match your wishes. It means that the automatic contraction that has been deflecting abundance at the somatic level is becoming visible to you, and visibility is the beginning of the end of any unconscious pattern. What you can see, you can be with. What you can be with, you can allow to move through you. And what moves through you instead of getting stuck in you loses its power to control your frequency. There is one more thing I want to share with you, and it concerns the nature of the field you are operating within. Not your personal field, the larger field. Because your breakthrough is not happening in isolation, and understanding the context changes how you relate to the process. In 1982, a team led by physicist Alain Aspect performed an experiment that confirmed one of the strangest predictions of quantum mechanics. Two particles that had interacted and then been separated by any distance, even theoretically across the entire universe, remained instantaneously correlated. Measuring the state of one particle immediately determined the state of the other, with no signal traveling between them, no time delay, no mechanism of communication that classical physics could account for. This is quantum non-locality, and Bell's theorem mathematically proves that no theory based on local hidden variables can reproduce the predictions of quantum mechanics. The correlation is not carried by any signal. It is a property of the system itself. The two particles are not two separate things communicating. They are one system expressing itself in two locations. The implications of this for what you are experiencing right now are profound. If non-locality is a fundamental feature of reality, and the experimental evidence overwhelmingly confirms that it is, then the idea that you are a separate individual having a private experience of abundance or scarcity is not the full picture. You are a localized expression of a non-local field. Your frequency is not just your frequency. It is a node in a vast, interconnected pattern of oscillation, and when your node shifts, the shift propagates through the field in ways that are not limited by space or time. This means that your breakthrough is not just for you. When your abundance frequency clears, when the interference pattern dissolves, and your natural signal comes through clean, you are not only changing your own perceptual filter, you are contributing a coherent signal to the field that every other node is entrained within. You are making it easier, in a measurable physical sense, for others to find their own coherence. This is not altruistic abstraction. This is the physics of coupled oscillators. When one oscillator in a network achieves coherence, it raises the probability of coherence in every oscillator it is coupled with. You are coupled with everyone you have ever interacted with. You are coupled with everyone in your household, your workplace, your community. Through the non-local nature of the field itself, you are coupled with patterns of consciousness you will never meet in person. Your shift matters beyond the boundaries of your individual life, and knowing this is not a burden. It is a liberation. Because it means that the abundance you allow into your life is not taken from anyone else. It is added to the field. It increases the total coherence available to everyone. This is the deepest misunderstanding embedded in the scarcity program. The belief that abundance is a finite resource, that if you have more, someone else has less, that receiving is a form of taking. This belief is not just emotionally limiting, it is physically inaccurate. The field is not a pie. It is a resonance, and resonance does not diminish when it is shared. It amplifies. A tuning fork does not lose its tone by causing another tuning fork to vibrate. It creates more of the same frequency. Your abundance, fully received and fully expressed, does not reduce the supply. It increases the signal. Consider listening to this again tomorrow morning before the noise of the day sets in, letting these frequencies recalibrate your system while it is still open and receptive. And if someone came to mind while you were listening, someone you can feel is standing at their own threshold, send this to them. When you share this kind of coherent signal with another person, you are not just passing along information. You are extending your own electromagnetic field into theirs through the act of intentional connection, creating a resonance bridge that strengthens both your frequency and theirs simultaneously. That is how coherence spreads through the field. So here is where you stand. The interference pattern is breaking. You can feel it. The old program is still running, but it is running on borrowed time because you have introduced a level of awareness into your system that the program cannot survive. Unconscious patterns require unconsciousness to maintain themselves. The moment you see them, truly see them, not with your mind, but with your felt awareness in the body, they begin to dissolve. Not all at once, not without echoes and reversals and moments where the old frequency surges back with surprising force, but irreversibly. The direction of the phase transition has been established, and it will complete. Your work now is not to push, not to force, not to perform abundance for the benefit of your own subconscious or anyone else. Your work is to stay with the new signal, to keep returning your attention to the felt sense of safe reception in your body. To watch for the 2-second window when your system decides whether to open or contract, and to bring compassionate awareness to that moment without judgment and without force. To trust that the coherence you are building is not fragile. It is the natural state of your system, the state it has been trying to return to since the interference pattern was installed. The frequency was never blocked. You were generating the block and perceiving the block simultaneously and calling it reality. Now you are seeing the mechanism. Now the signal is coming through, and the signal was always this: you are not separate from the abundance you seek. You are the abundance you seek, temporarily convinced otherwise by a pattern that is no longer strong enough to hold. Stay with this, not as a belief, as a frequency. Feel it in your chest right now. Feel the space that opens when you stop bracing against what is trying to reach you. That space is not empty. It is the most full thing you have ever felt. It is the field itself, moving through you without obstruction, for perhaps the first time in your conscious memory. This is what it feels like when the signal comes through clean. Remember it, not with your mind, with your body, because your body is the instrument, and the instrument is finely tuned, and the music that plays through a tuned instrument is not something you create. It is something you allow, and it has been waiting for you to stop blocking it for longer than you know. If something in this shifted for you, if you felt even a moment where the old pattern went quiet and the new frequency came through, stay in this space a little longer. Subscribe to this channel so these transmissions continue to reach you. Leave a word in the comments. One word that describes what you felt in your body during this. Not what you thought, but what you felt. Because naming a somatic experience anchors it in your nervous system in a way that thinking about it never can. And share this with someone who is at their own threshold. Someone you can feel is close to their own breakthrough, because the signal amplifies when it is shared. That is not a request. That is physics. The frequency is clear. The signal is through. What you do with it from here is between you and the field that has been waiting for you to listen.